I was prepared to dislike Max Calada even before I knew him. The passenger traffic in the ocean-going liners was heavy, and the accommodation was hard. My trip to Yokohama from San Francisco took 14 days, and I had to share the cabin with him. When I went on board, I found Mr. Clada's things below. I did not like the look of it. He was taking a lot of space. Out of frustration, I made my way to the smoking room.
Hi, I'm Clada, Max Clada.
Oh, we're sharing the same cabin together, aren't we?
Bit of luck, I call it. You never know who I'm going to be put in with. You see, I was happy when I heard that you were English. I'm all for us English sticking together when we are abroad, if you know what I mean.
English sticking together.
Yeah.
So, are you really English?
Rather. Do you think I look like an American? I'm certainly British to the backbone, that's what I am.
Okay.
So, what will you have for the drinks?
What do we have for drinks?
Well, we have dry martini and soda, and we also have anything, you name it.
I'll have a dry martini then.
Okay, excuse me. Can you make us a dry martini, please? Do you enjoy card tricks?
Not really.
It's okay, come. I'll show you some tricks. Here, pick a card.
This one.
So I guess this is your card.
Interesting.
I know I'm very good at this. Here, another one.
Another one.
Now you pick a card, and then you remember the card inside your head. Remember to not show me the card.
Alright, if you say so.
And then you put it inside here. I believe this is your cards.
Ah, yes. That's very nice. That's very good, very good.
Yeah. Nice drink, don't you think?
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, but I have to get going because I have to go for dinner. I haven't made any reservations, so...
Reservation? No, it's okay. I already made a reservation for the both of us. You know, since we're in the same state of room and everything, and I think it's pretty fun to have dinner together.
Together?
Yeah.
Well, alright then.
Alright, see you later.
I did not like Mr. Clada at all. I eat, sleep, and play cards with him. It is impossible not to see him. He's a good mixer, and in 3 days, he already knew everyone on board. He did everything, literally, from conducting the auctions to arranging the fancy dress ball. We call him Mr. Know-All, even to his face. Unfortunately, he took it as a compliment. He knew everything better than everyone else. The possibility that he could be mistaken never occurred to him. We sat at the doctor's table. Mr. Clada, as usual, chatty as always. The doctor was lazy and I was indifferent, except for a man, Mr. Ramsey. As bitter and dogmatic as Clada, he was in the American consular service and was stationed at Kobe. He was on his way back to resume his post, having been on a flying visit to New York to fetch his wife, who had been spending a year at home. And his wife, Mrs. Ramsey, pretty, pleasant, and had a sense of humor. You could not look at her without being struck by her modesty. It shone in her like a flower on a coat. One evening at dinner, they talked about the culture pearls which the cunning Japanese were making. As usual, Mr. Clada rushed the new topic.
Yeah, pearls. I do know lots about pearls. Well, I should know what I'm talking about. I'm going to Japan for this Japanese pearl business. I'm intrigued, so if there's a man who knows a lot about pearls, that would be me.
Wait a minute, this is news to me. How come you never mentioned this in any of our conversations?
Well, that's because you never ask, and we'll be never able to trace a culture pearl that an expert like me can't tell with my own eye. You take my word, Mrs. Ramsey. That chain you're wearing is not worth a cent less than it is now. That's a pretty interesting chain Mrs. Ramsey have, isn't it? I look at it once and I say to myself, gee, that pearls are real, alright.
I didn't buy it myself, but I should like to know how much do you think it costs?
Oh, if it's in the trade, you wouldn't be surprised if it's around $15,000. And if you were to bring it to the Fifth Avenue, it would turn up to $30,000.
Oh, you'll be surprised to know that my wife bought it at the department store the day before we left for New York for $18.
Rod! It's not only real, but it is the finest pearls I've ever seen.
Will you bet on it? I'll bet you $100 if it is an imitation.
Done.
Darling, you can bet on certainty.
Can I? Well, I will be all sort of a fool not to take a bet and get an easy money out of it.
But how can it be proved? It's only my work as Mr. Clara's.
Let me take a look at the chain, and if it's an imitation, I'll tell you straight enough. I can't afford to lose $100.
Take it out, dear. Let the gentleman look at it as much as he wants.
I can undo it.
Let me undo it.
Interesting. Very interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. I was mistaken. It's a very good imitation, and I think $18 would be as much as it's worth.
Here you go. Perhaps that will teach you not to be so sure the next time, my young friend.
The story spread over the ship. It was a fine joke that Mr. Know-all had been caught out. Next morning, I got up and began to shave, and Mr. Clada lay on his bed smoking a cigarette. As I was shaving, I heard a small knock on the door.
Oh, here, for you.
Who is this from?
You didn't say.
Oh. Do you mind getting rid of this?
Sure.
No one likes to be treated like a perfect damn fool.
Were the pearls real?
You know, if I had a pretty little wife, I would not let her stay in New York for a year while I'm in Kobe.
And that's when it hit me. I did not entirely dislike Mr. Clada.
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien